Hello everybody and welcome to Season 4 Amumu, part of the OP Jungle series, showing off the newest champions that are currently overpowered in my opinion, and in this case Amumu. Between him and Dr. Mundo I had a 10-game win streak, so it's not all BS. This is actually happening, and it actually caused me to skip an entire division from 5 to 3 in the Silver League, so nothing overly impressive, but still my ELO's through the roof, and it's possibly because of these two guys. At the end of this video, I'll have all the mastries and just the mastries and the runes that I use, so you guys can check that out if you need a basis. But to go over his skills real quick, his passive is he reduces the target's magic resistance for 3 seconds. Every auto attack refreshes the debuff on him. Also, his bandage toss is basically a skill shot, which tosses some bandages out and pulls you to the enemy. It stuns them momentarily and deals some magic damage. His W is a toggleable, if that's a word, toggleable, little AoE around him that does magic damage plus a percent of their maximum health each second. That's going to be real big for Amumu if you've never played him, which I highly doubt anybody hasn't. But if you've never played Amumu, that is basically you make friends with people and run around next to him, and that does a whole bunch of damage. Your E is your tantrum. It's a move that damages people around you, and it also makes it so you take reduced damage from physical attacks as soon as you get that. So that's usually what I start out with in the jungle. Some people start out with W. I like having a little less damage. I'm not sure exactly which one is a whole lot better, but I prefer the other one. And the reason that Amumu is overpowered and used to be banned constantly is because of his R. It stuns everybody in a very large area and deals magic damage and prevents everybody from attacking that you get for 2 seconds. So that's huge. But either way, we'll hop into the video here, and as you can see, I don't play game or show videos. I mean, I have games where I go 10-0 like everybody else, but I prefer to show you a video where you're going to get a realistic view of the champion that you're playing, and not a game where the other team was just terrible and we rolled them completely. But you're going to want to make your presence known early when you're playing Amumu, and our top lane is pushed over the line, so I go and I get my first whoosh. That's the sound it makes when your bandage toss goes right by somebody. But as you can see, my W, chase him down, do as much damage as I can. This does drain your mana fairly quickly. In your Amumu, you're going to want to get your blue. You're going to want to tell your team, I do it every time, hey, make sure you don't let them invade my jungle, because without my blue, you're going to have a really, really hard time getting any work out of me. And I miss again. I promise at some point I do end up getting better with this bandage toss, but for the first couple it's pretty sad. So it's like any other skill shot. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. We get a good laugh in top lane, and I move on back to the jungle. Amumu's clear time in the jungle is absolutely amazing. He has some of the fastest clear times in the late game, early and mid game, as any character. Here I go with the Spectral Lizard, I believe it is. It does a little more magic damage. I felt that this game against the team that I was playing that I could get the extra magic damage, but that's before I realized I was going to miss every skill shot that I ever tried to land, so that's the way that goes. But either way, that item's good. A lot of people go with the fist instead. I like the fist, which is the ancient golem. It does a lot. Now, for some reason, with the way the masteries are now, when you're playing a defensive champion, like out of the jungle anyways, like your Mundo or your Shyvana or your Amumu, you're very overpowered. So that's why Amumu is coming back for sure. He's got a great win ratio right now, and here we get really lucky. Cho'Gath gets away, and I do a little extra damage, but I believe that is the last terrible skill shot I make with this, so you'll get to see a little better plays here in a little bit. But nope, take that back. I fast-forwarded through that one for a reason. Anyways, you know, you go out there trying to land some skill shots, but sometimes you can't get them all. Either way, with your bandage toss, you can get around the jungle very quickly, and you won't have a problem getting anything. You can give your blue away if you want to. I prefer to keep my blue just based on the fact that I could be a bigger factor with a blue buff. You can see from blue getting the wolves going to red, I almost have full mana there. And Kha'Zix is counter jungling me this entire time. So I didn't slow it down there for you guys, but he is constantly a presence in my jungle, which should be a huge issue. But now with him and the defensive masteries that you can use, he is really hard to kill, even in the jungle. So here you see me land this on this Vayne. I get my ult off, and it's pretty much open and shut case at that point. The Vayne tumbles the wrong direction. I think she might be going for a kill, but Gragas gets down there and stops me from getting him. I probably could have, made some attempt to get over to there, but either way, the Vayne goes back, and we get the kill regardless. So that's the way that goes. Once again, you just pop your W and you just run around with people. Try and land your auto attack, and when your bandage toss is up, you go and get the kill. Here, go back, Bandage toss, stuns him for a second. That keeps the two low health people, me and that Thresh there, from getting taken out. You can see Amumu has a lot of cooldown issues in the very early game. You're going to sit there and wait for your bandage toss for quite a bit there, but you know, you can get around that later by, you know, reducing your cooldown and doing those sorts of things. That's just an optional thing. If you feel like you need a little more bandage toss in your life, then cooldown reduction can be something that you're going to want to get. But I finished the lizard and I get some boots. Obviously boots are pretty self-explanatory. You're going to want them for getting around. But here, I missed another one. But that wasn't so much to try and catch her as try and just get lucky there. But we get out here, I toss my ult out again just as she's under the tower. Probably could have done it a little bit sooner, it causes me to get killed, but at the same time they got the kill, and because I was baited there, that one kill turned into 2 kills, and the Kha'Zix also had to use his flash. For whatever reason, Leona decided she wanted to go back in, so my one death turned into 3 kills, which is, if you're going to die, a good trade-off in my opinion. So moving on to the next item you're going to want to immediately buy the Sunfire Cape. It makes perfect sense with Amumu's build. It is so obvious that you need a Sunfire Cape with this person that they should just call it the Amumu Cape. If you're already doing AoE damage everywhere you move, why not have it so you do more AoE damage everywhere you move? You can see here I'm not worried about this Shyvana at all, really. I'm just going to run away and flash off, and it's all done. I mean, she can try and chase me all she wants, but she's going to be sitting in my AoE the entire time, and that makes it a lot easier for Jax here to come in and do a little extra work. And like every Silver player, or Silva, like I have a speech impediment. Anyways, like every Silver player, you're going to learn you need to run away every once in a while. Not every fight is a good fight to stay in. But with my ult, you can see, once again, just absolutely stop that Kha'Zix in his track. It's pretty much a guaranteed kill if you use it right. And people stopped playing Amumu because people were counter jungling him in Season 3, and he was just absolutely getting dominated. There was no way to even, you know, get Amumu to where he was a functional character at that point, towards the end of Season 3 anyways, because he would just get counter jungled right out of there. There's just, you'd never have your blue buff, and as you can see, you're pretty blue buff dependent. So the reason he went away is because of that, and the reason he's going to come back is because these defensive masteries have made defense-based junglers absolutely ridiculous. That includes Jax. Jax is also overpowered right now, but you will see soon there will be some sort of nerf for your Mundo, and I believe there might even be more for Shyvana, even though she's already been nerfed. And I think Amumu is going to start coming back as the premier banned jungler based on the fact that his ult is what it is, and if your team's willing to help protect your blues, then you're going to be a force to be reckoned with the whole time. There you can see 3 champions in that. They're all just stuck there. That leaves plenty of time for everybody to come in. We can focus the AD carry if that's what we want to do. You just have so many options because they just can't get away. And here you can see Amumu's not, you know, a pushover as far as kills are concerned either. Those guys were low, but at the same time that bandage toss does some damage. Keep in mind also, if you choose, you can build AP Amumu. There's a lot of items that build your Rylai's, your Abyssal Scepter that give you defense and ability power. If you do manage to get ability power on Amumu, it turns into a completely different character. He's an absolute terror to deal with. That bandage toss does considerable amount of damage, and I mean, his AoE is doing more damage. He scales quite nicely off of, you know, your AP damage, and so if you do choose to go that way because you get fed, you can go that way. I recommend being a assist type Amumu. I mean, there's really no reason to try and steal kills with Amumu, but either way. Here, you can see we go in, we start a fight. I realize we're doing really well at this point, so why don't I go in there and just drop an ult, stun, try and get my team another kill. It was one of those things where me dying at this point doesn't really matter, so I was kind of having a little bit of fun there. Not the smartest play, but you know what? When you're on like a 9-game win streak, you kind of expect to lose at some point, and you start having more fun than normal, so either way, that's how that goes. And for the record, I lost my 10-game win streak from 3 platinum people being on my team against an entire team of silvers. And this is what I like to call good decision time with Amumu.
That's a bad thing to do. Bane's right there. Donna's not helping. Yeah.
Every once in a while you gotta back off and realize that one of your friends might be right about something, so instead of going in there and dying trying to steal a dragon and making a play, we had to take a back seat for that one. But get right back in there and start messing with that dragon. See Kha'Zix and recognize the fact that even though we're fed, 2v3 is never a good thing. Plus we didn't know where the Gragas was, and as you can see, he's doing a little bit of damage, so we wait in the bush and let Loki try and bait him out there as Cho'Gath, the gentle man, and go back in and push. At this point, we are in their jungle the entire time, so there's a lot of good happening there. And for the 110th time, the myth. But regardless of how many kills you're going to get with Amumu, the second you get your Sunfire Cape, you're going to be better off than a character who is 2 levels higher than you most time. Especially if you're trying to be an assist Amumu. That's the most fail flash ever. Oh, it's one of those days, I guess. But even if you're a little behind, you know, you're going to be able to get in there and you're going to be able to do all sorts of different utility damage and AoE damage. You're constantly reducing their magic resistance. So Amumu is just a great character for that assist style character that is going to help win games. Here we kind of get stuck in limbo. This happens a lot, more often than I would like, especially in the silver division, where you kind of get stuck in the middle. Everybody tunnel visions and it just gets bad. But here it's not terrible. They focus me instead of the 2 people who are doing damage, and Thresh does a really good flash to get out of there. And by the time they get Cho'Gath down to a manageable area, I already have, you know, all my cooldowns reset, so I can go back in there and do some work. And with Cho'Gath being so big, because Cho'Gath does get that way, I can turn around with barely any health and then go back in. I end up opting for a Frozen Heart at this point just because I like the fact that it reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies. I'm already reducing their magic damage, so why not do a little extra just because stuff. That's my favorite part about Amumu. He does so many things that doesn't require you to press a button. It's awesome. I mean, I'm not the laziest person. I love skill shots. Those are the type of characters that I tend to go towards, but the fact that Amumu is right now, you know, reducing that attack speed and reducing that magic resistance and doing all these extra things, and really all I'm doing is running after people with my W and laughing because it's hilarious that most of my damage comes from just running around after people. It's kind of like a watered down Singed as far as that goes, but here Kha'Zix is running all over the place, doesn't really know what to do. We're obviously pretty far into their base and not really taking too much damage. We got 3 characters that have decently full health, and Amumu is going to be doing, you know, the bandage toss thing and all that stuff if you use him right, and we get the inhibitor and take off. At this point you have some options. If Dragon was up, you could go get Dragon. If they have their buffs up, you can go get their buffs. But you also have to keep in mind that Baron is going to be a big factor in this. They decide they're going to go for Baron. This is a terrible idea on their part. You can see that they got their Gragas really low, and even with me missing my skill shot, the second that my team gets here, we turn this attempted Baron into a really fail situation for them. So you can see they completely abandon Baron. We go back and, well, I mean, if they're going to not get the Baron, they leave it at less than half health, and that's those bad decisions that really end up biting you in the ass in this game. You know, you thought you had a chance to get Baron because we were going back, but we didn't go all the way back, so they ended up losing out on a Baron, and now you have a team that is already winning in team fights that's in a situation where they're winning in team fights and they have a Baron buff. So I buy my second pair of shoes just because I don't want to miss the end of game and run my way over to there. We're going to go in and we're going to put a little polish on the end of this already good game. And as you can see, like, I did good with Amumu in this game. It wasn't, you know, the flashiest of Amumu games ever. I've had games where, you know, I build AP and go a whole bunch of damage, but here you can see, you know, I'm just stunning people and keeping people out of the game. They're taking a lot of time here, and my team's getting here, and these guys almost have no health. They're going to have to go back and get all their stuff back while I am doing all this extra damage. I do what I was supposed to do, mess with a Leona in time for Jax to get back, flash out of there just because, just so I can stay alive for the end of the game, and we go in there and we do a good job finishing up when it needs to be finished. So, in conclusion, Amumu is probably the best assist jungle champion out there, other than what you would get out of a Mundo right now, because Mundo is clearly the most overpowered jungle champion there is. But between Mundo, Amumu, Shyvana, those defensive champions are really making a statement nowadays, and you're going to want to get those if you're going to be in the jungle, and you're going to want to be good with them. So here's some runes and masteries just in case you need somewhere to go with those kind of things, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody take care.